Whether it's wrong or right, I don't know. But I have very little friends, so I can't relate.
This is the struggle I've had.
I cannot relate
with her for more than 25 years. To like, she's like, oh, this could never be me.
Yeah.
I see people like when that poor girl, what's her name? The one that got murdered in Cancun,
Shanquella. Oh my God, yeah.
You know, and
Shanquella Robinson.
Talk about Shanquella Robinson.
We can dive into it now. Shoot.
Yes.
About friendship and what true friendship is about.
Oh my God, that is such a, honestly, that broke my heart. Because she seemed like such a sweet girl. She wasn't even fighting back. When I saw that video. And
entrepreneurial, doing good, having a business.
And to me, it was, again, this is why Angie doesn't have any friends. But I think I felt so passionate about it. And it was very relatable to me. Because, like I said, I travel with friends a lot. And
you don't travel with friends a lot, Addie. You travel with acquaintances a lot.
No, they're my friends.
Oh, shoot. But anyway, like, no, they're not.
Yes, they are. I mean, honestly, I've traveled with friends a lot. That people.
What do you consider friend? Do you consider somebody who you know less than 5 months friend?
I've never traveled with somebody I've known less than 5 months.
Really? Because I have the girl that you go over. I've never met them. I don't know who these people are.
Just because the thing is, I've been traveling for 4 years, right? So it's going 5 years. And I have a lot of friends that you don't know because
I know
because I spend more time with them than I spend with you,
which is true because you love to travel and I don't, you know.
And Mercy's like a sister to me. You know, I travel with her like I've known her for a year. She's like literally like a sister.
How long you know Mercy for?
A year.
1 year?
More than a year now. We met going on 2 years.
You know.
When you know, like honestly,
I know, and that's the problem. No,
like anyway, the thing is, I've like she doesn't want, and she's very, like I said, homebody. No,
it's like you know how hard it is for me to open up.
I know, but I don't have that same issue.
I maybe I need to go to therapy for this one, but I can't trust people like that with my true and honest feeling, and then it boxed me into a corner. I'm saying to myself, if I can't be my true self around you, there's no point in me even trying to gain a friendship with you. So I just move on quickly.
See, I'm in the complete opposite. I've been burnt. Like honestly, my friends, I think more than relationships, but like with men. But I've never had a friendship where I felt like this. My friends that I have are real people to me. Like real. Even though she doesn't know, like a lot of my friends that I hang out with, I've traveled, that I've been places with, I'm very cautious about who I let in because I've been burned. Like and I was a little bit naive a few years ago, where I felt like everybody's like me. Everybody love like I love. Everybody see the world like I see the world. And then something's happened to me where I realized, oh my God.
It's not 50-50.
There's some people out there that are envious of you, that are in bed with you, that are envious of you and hate you. There are people that...
and then the thing, Addie...
And they pretend.
And they want to stay. They want to stay in the circle because they're afraid to move out of the circle and be left behind.
And that's all it is. Like, there are people in your circle who only come into your life to use you and see how much they can take from you. And that, to me, has been...
And sometimes it's just to take the limelight. It's not taking something physical. It's just they want some of the limelight that is shining on you to be on them too. You understand me? And to me, that's not true friendship.
Well, like I said, now I'm a lot more aware of how people move and what people are capable of doing. And what people say is completely different than what they do. Definitely follow the action. So to me, like, I have really good friends that I trust. So, for example, there was a group trip I was gonna take part of, and something told me, no, this is not the right group for you. And I didn't follow through with that particular trip because, like I said, I'm very now in the last couple of years of my life, I'm very aware vibrationally, like what people can do.
They
I
can.
read energy so much better now before, because I used to walk around thinking everybody's like me. If you say I'm gonna do something, I really meant it. Like because I was like, why do people need? I can't beat you.
Yeah, like Addie,
Why would I lie to you?
yeah, it's like me. If I'm your friend, I'm your friend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna pretend to like you and I don't like you. I'm not gonna pretend that.
That's it. I cannot.
I can't.
Oh my
I can't,
God.
like, and the funny thing is, it's one thing about me. It's either I like you right away or I don't.
That's me.
It's weird as hell. Like, it's either I'm with you or I'm not. And I'm the kind of person, if I say I'm with you today, I'm going to be with you 1,000 years from now.
And this is the thing. I have a neighbor. Well, I had a neighbor before I moved. And she's a very nice lady. That lady is so sweet. And she was trying so hard to be my friend. And I usually warn people, like, I am not the type of person to be a friend with. You know what I'm saying? Addie only tolerates me because she knows me.
I tolerate her so
Yes.
more than you know.
But guys,
I should have been given up years ago.
yeah, I'm not that type of friend. I don't understand. And I told her this. I told this lady that I will be a very bad friend. So don't even try to be friends with me. I warned her, right? And this poor little sweet lady, oh my God, she kept trying and trying and trying. And finally, she got it, but then she was angry. She was mad at me. And I said to her, oh, this is what happened. She had another friend. She got another friend in the neighborhood now. And the other friend see how I roll and see how I move. And she had invited me for coffee one day, right? And she called and canceled. I'm like, okay, but true, because I was feeling for the coffee. I'm like, oh, let me go to Starbucks and get me a coffee because that's where we were going to meet, right? And she called and canceled and said she won't be able to make it because something, she was going somewhere else. And I'm like, okay, Eddie. And so when I got to Starbucks, it was her and her other girl that we were going to meet at Starbucks sitting there. So I walked over and I said, hi. And Addie, to be honest, I did not, because you know me, I did not feel bad about it at all.
Yeah, you don't care, one or the other.
No, because, I feel like an adult should be able to do whatever they want to do. And she did, and not feel bad about it, because she did call me to cancel. Yes, and me, because she didn't want me there. Because clearly I wasn't trying to be her friend. And maybe the other girl finally showed her that I'm not trying to be her friend. And I honestly didn't see anything wrong with it. But I could tell that she felt bad. And she was feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And so, you know me, I said, trust me. I said, don't feel uncomfortable. I said, it is perfectly okay. I had to soothe her. I'm like, it is perfectly okay. If you don't want to have coffee with me, I said, it's fine. That's what life is about. Yes, and me?
This is Angie for real.
Yeah.
Like, why should you force? Don't force anything.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I think she finally got it. And I see her now and then. And of course, I'm not going to pass her without not say hi. I will stop and say hi and talk to her. But that friendship that she wants, I couldn't give it to her. Because you know why, guys? Because even though she was super sweet, she couldn't be my friend. I don't know how to explain it.
I know.
She just
like Angie is the kind of to know Angie is to love Angie.
Yeah.
But you have to get to know
Yeah.
Angie. And she doesn't let anybody in to get to know the real Angie. So, and I think that particular person she's referring to is very active. And when Angie's in her home, she's in her cocoon. Don't bother.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she might want to stop by and
And she did want to have tea. I'm like, oh my God.
Let's go for a walk.
And I warned her.
And she's like, when she's ready, and I think the reason why our relationship has lasted this long, because I leave her alone. When she wants to be left alone, leave her alone. When she's ready to do something like this thing I didn't want to do, I can't stop her from doing it because she's gonna do it. So I just have to go along with it.
I said, that's why we get along so. And you know what? I believe it's because we were living together at one point too. So you really got to know me.
Anyway, Angie's been my shelter. Like, I can go in the world and do all the crazy things I want to do. When I want to come home and settle down, I would just say, I'm moving in or something.
And we're like, okay.
Her husband come home. Oh, Addie's here. And how long is Addie gonna be here? I don't know. When Addie gets is going, we did that for a
long time. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whatever issue, we'll talk about how we end up living together when we're in college.
I mean, we can do it now. This is the time for it. This is the podcast for that. Yeah.
And it's good around the wedding, like we just had the wedding. So this is a good time. So I think, how did it start? Like, my mom had kicked me out. Like, I think my second semester in college, kicked me out. Just basically kicked me out. And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't being like a bad child. I wasn't running around doing anything bad, but it was just, it's a culture thing. So anyway, I did say something to her. I think I called her a bitch, but by mistake because she was trying to kill me. So, and I was tired of getting the beating, and I'm like, you're being a bitch, get off of me, you know, but that's a long story. And me being Haitian, I'm like, she didn't really mean it, you know, but my auntie called me, he's like, hey, I just spoke to your mom, she wants you at her house. And I'm like, where am I supposed to go? Like, you know, and she had sheltered us so much to the point where if I wasn't home, I was in school, or I was over their house, you know. So, and like if my auntie called and tell your mom want her house, I'm thinking, okay, is my auntie gonna tell me I can come over to the house until she weather this storm out? No, so she didn't say anything. So I called her husband and his sister at the time. I said, my mom just kicked me out. They're like, whatever. I said, no, she's meaning it. She wants me at her house. So they came and got me, and I was staying at their house. And mind you, I'm like, every day I'm thinking, any day now, mommy's gonna come get me. That went on for like, 3 months? I was staying at their house for 3 months, every day thinking my mom's gonna come for me. Never happened. I'm uncomfortable because I'm like, I think eventually she called them and told them, because the family was one family, like we grew up together, you know, my parents and his parents, their parents were like really close. So she called them and said, I know Addie's over there, but did she tell you why she's over there? She called me a bitch. And let me tell you, in the Haitian culture, that she could have killed me just for that alone. The fact that she only asked me to leave her house is because, I don't know. So then I was staying at that point she's dating Duke. I think he just want me out of the house because, you know, I don't know why. She kept asking me, and I didn't know you that well yet.
I think I met you once or maybe twice when we were in Black Student Union.
No, we used to all hang out. We used to go places.
Well, yes, but we didn't know each other.
We were acquaintances, but we didn't know each other like that. But I was just like, she kept asking me, Addie, my mom works away from home. I have a 3-bedroom apartment.
No, I think Duke had told me that he had came and asked me, you know, if it's okay if Addie stay over there with me. Yes, I mean, I think that's what happened.
That was your idea this whole time.
No, I thought Duke asked me, yes, and me, if Addie can stay with me. And I didn't even think about it for long because I am like, oh, company, you know?
Like, I don't remember.
Because, you know, guys, my mom, I kept asking it because after I'm like, okay, I can get this. No, because Duke had asked me, you know, I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, Duke had mentioned something that, you know, you're looking for a place and if it's okay for you to come and stay with me. And I needed a company because so I was over an apartment by myself because, guys, my mom always working. And my mom super trusts me, but she shouldn't have. But I was living in an apartment by myself, a 3-bedroom apartment by myself, and it was a semi-hood in where was it? In West Palm Beach.
I was like,
and it was affordable. It was an affordable little apartment that we could afford with my mom teeny little budget and my little budget, and so I needed a company, man, because I was living by myself for a very long time, you know.
I kept saying no because I'm like, it's unheard of for a Haitian parent to kick you out of their house. They want you to stay home until you're like married, until you're like 30, 40, 50. They want to keep you home. So I kept saying, Mom, then I kept telling you, my mom's coming.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's just mad. She's gonna call for me any day. She's gonna call for me any day now. And I'm like, let me tell you something. I had no intention of leaving home because I wanted to stay home, stack my little money that I was making, and then when I was in college to have because I wasn't paying any bills. But when the woman I'm like, I think it was after the 3rd month, I think you literally came and got my stuff and moved me. Because I'm like, she's not coming.
Yeah. You were in denial at that point. I think you probably were getting a little bit depressed knowing that she really wasn't coming to get you.
She wasn't really coming to get me.
But you heard her. Well, go ahead.
The last time she did was call the family and told them that I called her a bitch.
No, you know what I think it is? Because your mom knew you were in a safe place. She wasn't in a rush to come get you.
But I think maybe now she's probably waiting for me to call back home and beg her, Mommy, I'm sorry.
No, not beg her, but apologize.
Oh, and me, I was going to apologize. I did not apologize.
Exactly. You needed to go give her an apology. Oh. She was waiting for that, and you never gave it to her.
I never gave it to her because, honestly, I felt like I was not in the wrong because when I didn't really disrespect her by calling her a bitch because we were fighting, we're having an argument. No, she literally jumped on me and started choking me. And I couldn't breathe. And the kids were like, Mommy, you're killing her. Mommy, you're killing her. And at that point, I'm tiny and she's a lot bigger than me. And she's choking. I'm like, and finally I just pushed her off of me. And I'm like, you're being a bitch. And I felt like you were going to kill me versus me saying you were being a bitch. Because I couldn't breathe. But that was how we ended up living together. And through the years, we were just like, whatever happened in my life from that moment on,
I know it all.
I'm like, Addie, I don't think, did we at one point?
No, you had left and you got your apartment. I don't remember where now.
Yes,
you got an apartment with you and your cousin.
My cousins. It was so weird, right? I don't know how my cousins were very sheltered, and I had 3 cousins. My first cousin she's like a mathematician. She's really bright, and her brother's bright also. And they were their parents are extremely strict. So one of them came over and said, "Can I move with you? Let's get a place together." And I was like, "No."
Okay, go ahead.
This is a culture moment. Imagine your child just graduated with her master's in mathematics with honors. And what her reward was getting a, something. That wasn't appreciated. So she got fed up. She's like, I can't live like this. She said to me, Addie, if you don't move in with me, I'm going to kill myself. And when I looked at her eyes, and I know she meant it. Because her parents had this expectation that she should be a doctor, that she should not be. And her love was teaching, So she got her master's. She was not even 22 when she got her master's.
She was very young.
Very young with her master's in mathematics. And, she was already teaching at the college level. But her parents, her father actually, I'm going to say it, wanted her to be a doctor. And she's like, I don't like the sciences. This is what I love, But I think at her graduation, he probably just got her on her knees and,
I don't think he came.
He didn't go to her graduation. He's like, what is that? What is a teacher? A teacher is nothing. You should be a doctor. Anyway, so she's like, she had enough of it. So she's like, please move with me. But I was very comfortable at Angie's house because I think I was only giving Angie not even $150.
I don't remember.
Back then, and Angie and I were we've always meshed well. We have the same kind of structure. We don't, and I don't rock the boat, and she doesn't rock the boat either. It wasn't man coming in her house. It was we're in school trying to figure out how we're going to make our lives.
You know what? I don't even understand why we were so ambitious. Where did we get that ambition from at that younger age?
I had to survive. I had nobody.
Yeah, but the difference is, yes, you had to survive. You had nobody, but your idea was to go to school to better yourself. A lot of people don't make that decision. Yes, a lot of girls make other decisions. Well, yes, so what I want to know with you, what was that one thing that seed, I should say, that was, growing that ambition?
Well, I've always always wanted to be self-sufficient. I don't know why. Like, I don't ever wanted to depend on somebody to do for me what I can do for myself. And it is, even like when I was saying with
But why
Angie,
why did you think that would be through education?
what else opportunity was I going to do?
Okay.
And I remember, okay, this
There had to be something.
I'll never forget this time. I was working in a country club. And very, very opulent country club, you know. And I'm sitting there, first of all, waiting table, whatever, all that stuff. And this lady was like, girl.
Look.
And I don't turn around because I know she wasn't talking to me. And I must have been 16. She kept calling, can you get my girl? Can you get my girl? And I have no idea who she's talking about. Who's her girl? And finally somebody says, she's talking to you. I was like, oh, me? And I went to her and I said, my name is Addie. I said, ma'am, my name is Addie. And she looked at me like, I don't give a fuck what your name. Like, I don't care what your name is. You're my girl. And just like doing, what is this, waitressing stuff, like and for some reason, there were a couple girls working there. They loved the tip. I remember they were so happy they were getting these tips. But me, I felt degrading. Like, how dare you talk to me like that? Like, how dare you call me a girl? Like, and plus of all, like I said, I'm a student of history. I read a lot of history book. I used to read. And I'm like, this is so degrading. How are you going to call me a girl? You know, my name badge, if you wanted to get to know who I am. But that was one point. I'm like, I never want this to be my life. Like, I cannot let this be my life where, because of what make this my life dependent on this. So that was one thing I remember. Like,
For me, I knew exactly what happened. This thing is so ingrained in my head.
I know. Sorry.
I was a CNA, and I don't know if I was contented to be a CNA. I don't know at the point, but I was a CNA, and I always have aspiration of going back to school. Yes, but for some reason, because I came from Jamaica, I always have this thing in the back of my head that my education in Jamaica was not as good as here, but that, but yet I never went to school here. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I didn't graduate high school in Jamaica because my last semester before I graduated, my mom pulled me out of school because the opportunity to come to America was greater than graduating from high school. And so I took that route. And so I didn't graduate from high school, and I'm in America and I'm an aide, right? Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with that.
The aspiration, what made you
Okay.
pursue education?
Yeah. So, therefore I didn't have my GED or didn't have high school diploma or anything. And so I became an aide. And I was working for this lady, and we went to the doctor's office, right? And the doctor was a young man. It was a young doctor, and he was talking to the lady, and he was saying to the lady, oh, you're doing so better, and I can see that your aide is taking such good care of you. And, all this accolades, of the lady getting better. And she's like, oh, yeah, she's good. She's doing this, and, she's good. She's one of the good girls, and blah, 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 right? And I remember specifically this young doctor look at me, and he's like, oh, my God. He's like, when I get older, I want you to take care of me. And you remember when Oprah would say, this is your aha moment? That was my damn aha moment. In the back of my mind, I'm driving home with this lady, and I'm thinking to myself, that man, by the time that man got older, I'm going to be older. So I'm going to be working for him. So that means I'm going to be doing this forever? You understand me? I'm like, in the back of my mind, I said, this cannot be my life. You understand me? There has to be more. But yet, my barrier was going to school. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm good enough to go to school. Can you imagine?
You're bright.
But listen to this. I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And once again, guys, research. I'm like, okay. So I said, I have to get my GED. And so I enrolled in the Adult Student Center in West Palm Beach. to get my GED. And so they when you enroll yourself, they have an entrance test. And when I did the entrance test to go to the school, the guy was like, Miss Clark, why are you here? You know, he said, I'm going through your preliminaries, and the only thing that you probably have to brush up on is the math section. I'm looking at him. I'm like, really? He's like, yes.
You can take the test now.
Yes. And so no, but I didn't take the test. No, I think I did 4 weeks of math, you know, because they had me go into the math, and I remember I usually go either 1 day a week or 2 day a week. I usually go to the program. And I did the math, and within 4 weeks, I did the GED. And Addie, you see my scores. I was up the top tier. And after I took my GED, and I realized, like, oh, I'm up at the top percentile. You know, because you didn't take the GED. You went to high school. But in the GED, you have to, in all areas, you have to make over 45 in all areas or whatever. Addie, my scores were so high, even in the math section. And that's why he was so proud of me. I forgot his name. In the math section, I scored so high. So the day he called me, even the day the man called me and tell me I passed. And funny enough, this is how well I did on that damn test. I didn't even finish the test. Because when the person that was overseeing us say time's up in like 2 minutes, I panicked and just start randomly circling areas. You understand me? So after I got the results, and I said to myself, just imagine if I had time to do the test. And so after I got my GED back and I saw my scores, I'm like, damn, I can do this. You know, and I'm like, oh, why was I afraid? And then now, my second boost now, Addie, was when I went to college. I'm like, oh my God, college is going to be so hard. Oh my God, I don't have the foundation. Me rotted. I went to college, and especially when I took college math, and I'm looking down, I'm like, that's it? I used to do this in all-age school in Jamaica. What the hell? Breeze through that. Breeze through that. And so I'm like, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. So that base education that I thought that I got in Jamaica was so far ahead. It seemed like to me we were learning college stuff and I just didn't know this. And funny enough, you know, I wasn't a good student in Jamaica. I was not a good student. My grades were like C's and D's. But when I look back on it, I was distracted by boys. Yes. You know, I had other stuff on my mind. So my focus wasn't there. You know what I mean? But anyway, that was my story, guys. And then, you know, but that was my catalyst. I'm like thinking, this man is telling me that when he get old, I'm going to take care of him. So therefore, I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm like, I can't do the same thing. You know, and then I see my mom working as a CNA for all these years, and nothing is wrong with that. I just knew that cannot be my story.
But there's nothing wrong with our parents having a foundation for us. Like we are immigrants, or we are children of immigrants. There's nothing wrong with our parents. I honor, respect my mom. She worked housekeeping. My mom, like just like any foreigners, like when you're in your country, especially girls. My mom was a daughter. There was six children and 3 boys. Guess what? They're gonna push the boys to go to school. They're gonna provide for the boys, and the girls are usually held back. So I always say, my mom. If my mom had my mom is so bright. My mom had half we always say this in the family. My mom had half the opportunity to get educated in America. My mom, we wouldn't be nothing like my mom. It's just lack of opportunity. Yeah. And your level of education abroad, especially like I remember even
the islands,
especially over here, a lot of stuff are multiple choice. Me, I have a photogenic memory. Like I really never really try to read, write and stuff, because I'm not. But I can remember if I hear it.
Because that's what. Look here. I give you a great example. The first test that I took in college, and I could use my calculator. I was like, what?
Yes.
I can. Yes. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you telling me? I'm saying to the professor. Yes. I'm like, excuse me. Are you telling me that I can use my calculator? And he's like, yes. I'm like, you don't get that in,
No, no.
you don't get that in Caribbean. You better know your timetables from memory.
And even like I remember like these kids who came, and because I came younger, and then those other kids who came after me, boy, please, they were running circle around us because they're like, you're not. If anything, you're writing. If they, you know how you have multiple choice. No, if you define something, you need to write the whole thing, the definition. If they're gonna ask you the equation of whatever, you need to know the equation. You have to finish the whole equation from your head. And these are kids I remember in Haiti, like studying by the candlelight or the pole light in the street. You know, so they know their stuff. Like they're really smart. They just need the opportunity to come over. They came over. They were like, "Oh, you don't belong in this class." They're moving. These kids can barely speak English. They're putting them in advanced class. You know,
yeah,
it's true.
And so when I got into college, I didn't even want to go into nursing. I wanted to go into health field. I wanted to be a physical therapy or occupational therapy. That was my goal. And I don't even know. Maybe it's my mom who changed my mind or something. Somehow, I changed that into nursing. You know, but like I said, I didn't have a tough time in academic wise in school.
No, because I remember you're helping a lot of the other students that were born and raised here.
Yeah. I didn't have a hard time academic wise. And you know me and paper, writing paper is not, it's like, I don't want to say nothing for me, but
No,
I enjoy that.
And she,
Yeah.
I'd be like, Angie, I'm writing this paper. What do you think? And
Yeah.
I'm like, proofread this paper for me.
I excel.
Because
Those
she
are things I
excelled in
like.
writing, she excelled and I'm not.
But funny enough, you know, Addie, now that you said that, let me let the people them know a little bit about me. I don't understand why I usually procrastinate.
Last minute.
But Addie, when I'm finished with the paper, Addie, and say I turn in my paper and I get my 90 something and whatever, Addie, and I'm like, that much? And I reread the paper, I impress my damn self. I'm like, where the hell? That always shocked me. I'm reading my own paper over, and I said to myself, where did this come from?
No, the thing is, you understand, like, I remember, like, I think nursing school kind of killed my love for reading. Like, I used to love reading, like, romance novels, history books, but once you get into nursing, it's just, like, the material is so heavy. You're like, oh, my God, it kills your brain cells, so... But if you love to read, it's gonna show in your writing. You know, because you're reading, the flow of reading is what's gonna help your writing when you're writing your paper.
Yeah.
So and you love.
And I love reading.
She loves to read, so of course you're gonna excel in writing.
Yeah, I was surprised because those subjects when I was in Jamaica, boy, I used to get D's and F's. Boy, the struggle was real back then. But like I said, that was my catalyst, guys, getting into, you know, higher education, I should say. That, like I said, that one doctor thinking I was going to be a CNA all my life and be there when he gets old so I can take very good care of him. I'm like, oh, Lord, this is not going to happen to me, you know?
Like she said, there's always that aha moment. But also, like me, I'm the oldest of, like I said, 6. And, you know, I have like 3 actually other older half siblings, but me and my immediate home that I grew up in, I was the oldest girl and the oldest child. So it comes with a responsibility to see your immigrant parents work so hard, you know, working minimum wage, getting like I can't even imagine, like I don't have any children and I feel like I do have a life of privilege. I do very well for myself as a single woman, but I can imagine how they raised 6 kids on their salary.
They did it though.
They made back in those days. So, but to me, it's always been, I don't know if it's a cultural thing. Like I always felt like if I was a failure, that all my other siblings are going to be
a failure. It's true.
So being the oldest, I had to excel. I had to show them a life of, like, if you work hard, you put you know, you don't have to be the brightest. You don't have to be like enjoy school. Like I don't enjoy school. I've done it because it was
something you had to get done.
I had to get done to put me where I need to be in life. And I always felt like I never wanted, like I said, depend on, even when I was like in high school, I didn't want to depend on like a boyfriend to care for me or like and first of all, I wasn't even allowed to really date. But the fact of you having somebody pay my bills, take care of me, I always felt like if somebody could do that for you, then they can control you. They can tell you what to do. They can tell you what to move, how to go. And also, I always want to have my own, and that's always been a mindset for me. Like, okay, can I take care of myself? Can I do for myself without somebody else? And I always thought about that also. Like, I could have a significant, I can have a husband, and something happens to him where I have to step it up. Do I want to step it up from where now I'm going to have to go to school, learn something, I'm going to have to
all over again.
All over again? No. So I always felt like I had to be prepared for anything.
That's it. You have to prepare. And that's what we had when we were younger, that drive. Because I remember it's like when I used to have a couple of friends and they, party. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, can I go to this party? And I'm rationalizing. I'm like, no, because I have to go to school tomorrow. And I actually want to know what they're saying in school. And the reason why, Addie, because for some reason, somewhere, something in the back of my head, I knew that the future is coming. You understand me? So I have to prepare myself.
You up for that.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's the truth. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to go to school, because I wanted to be better so I can help my mom. Because I remember that when we were living together, just me and my mom, she was the one that was paying all of the bills on her little salary. And my goal was, okay, when I got my first job here, my goal was to make sure that I give half the rent to my mom so we can afford the apartment that we were in. You understand me? And I was working at the time too. And every time I get my pay, I don't hesitate. Me make sure said my mom got half. It's only when I started nursing school, when I was deep into nursing school, it was getting harder with clinicals. My mom told me that just don't give her rent, just finish up school. You know what I mean?
And that's a parent for you.
Yeah. And that was the thing. I wanted to make sure that. And then now in the future now, my goal now is to not to be a burden to my kids. Yes, and me. My goal is to be self-sufficient now, where when I get older, I have my income coming in where I'm not have to depend on my picking them. Yes, and me, because that's the last thing I want, to be a burden to them.
And I think that's what I've been in the last, I think, 5 years, 6 years. I started making a decision. I said, you know what? I don't know what the future holds. Like we talked about this earlier. I'm a single woman, like responsible for myself, and anything can happen. So things can change. I need to be at a point where in the future, if I am in a state where I cannot, who am I going to depend on? So therefore, I have to put myself in a situation where if anything happened, I have a means of taking care of myself.
Yeah. And put one foot forward and make a move.
It's never too late to do anything.
It's never too late to do anything.
Especially now with the way the economy is moving. Inflation is high as we can. It's really high for everything. You can't even afford to buy eggs, and there's groceries. Everything is so. What's gonna happen in the future?
And the only thing I'm promoting is nursing, because that's what I know, and that's what I know that's been beneficial to me, and that's what's been paying my bills. You understand me?
Well, I don't think it's the only, to me.
No, it's not the only option for sure. It's not.
Yeah, but it's something that we know, like even with, if we, let's God forbid, we hit a really bad depression.
They always need nurses.
You're always going to need the nurses to work, because guess what? Like, you can hear all these companies, high-tech companies going to start laying off people. But when they lay us off, who's going to take care of they're going to need us more than ever, because people are going to be stressed and having strokes and all kinds of stuff. So you need a healthcare workers. So, and like I said, even like my sister who just got married, I remember when she was 18, I took her and her twin sister to the local community college. I said, here are your choice. If you follow this, everything that I showed them was like in the healthcare. I said, if you do these things, in 2 years, you don't need nobody to help you. You're going to be self-sufficient. And sometimes maybe a lot of kids don't listen when they're young. They want to do their own thing.
Like you see the path. At these young kids, you know the path, Addie, and you're trying to show these kids this path. Like, this is the easy path. I've been through it. Yes, and that's how I talk to my kids. I don't talk to my kids, like I'm a mom and blah, blah, blah. No, me talk to them down to earth. Like, I've been through this. So whatever you're thinking, I used to think it.
And that's what a lot of them don't think. They're like, what do they know? They're old.
And guys, one of the reasons why both Addie and I promote the LPN program is because of the time. It's something that you can do in 1 year, a licensed practical nurse, 1 year. And guess what? That 1 year of your life when you would have sit home and do nothing anyway, you could have been an LPN. And then guess what? If you don't like it, then guess what? It was just one. If it was just 1 year. You understand me? But then you still have options, because when you're an LPN, you don't have to do bedside nursing or any nursing, RN, LPN, wherever. You don't have to do bedside. There is so much avenue that you can get into. You understand me? Without doing bedside. And that's why Addie and I are a big promoter of the LPN program, because 1 year you do it. That's if you're not sure. I keep on saying that. This is the third time I've said that. If you're not sure,
but honestly, but even if you are sure, the fact is it's a program. It's 1 year, and then as soon as you have that license and you
start working,
other schools the bridge program is just another year. As opposed to you doing like most programs. Let's say you're gonna go straight to a bachelor's program. You may spend 2 years just doing your prerequisites. That's 2 years you as a student going to class and maybe working at McDonald's, maybe do whatever the situation is. That to me is the best way to do it. Like you staying at home with your parents 1 year, like after you know what could happen, because you get to work after a year and make a decent living for yourself. If you so happen to get pregnant because you're, then guess what? And that person decided they don't want to be part of your life anymore. You're a single mom.
Or a single dad. Let's include the dads.
You will be able to provide for yourself and your child, and that transition into the RN degree is so much easier, because guess what? You have experience now. You working, and the beauty, like a lot of people don't know about nursing. You can work, especially 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7,
12 hours,
8 hours, 10 hours. Just weekend. If you're an LPN,
Baylor,
you can work just weekend. If you don't have a babysitter, you don't have somebody to watch you, you can find a way to just work that weekend. You will still have a livelihood. You know what I mean? So that's why we advocate for it, because there's no need to be struggling, and you don't have to go get a 4-year degree right away. I know we talk about our degrees, and some people were saying we were bragging about those degrees. But I didn't start with I didn't start in the medical field with a bachelor. I started with a licensed practical nursing degree, a diploma degree. And that you could do some.
No, but remember you had your bachelor's in something else.
But they don't want to hear that. But
I'm going to say she had her bachelor's into what, finance and
so
real estate.
So I had that already, but
child,
those kids, some school, you could be in a city, your kids could graduate high school with a licensed practical nurse already.
And that's what I did. I did the route. I did the registered nurse associate. I graduated with my associate degree, and then I worked for a couple of years. I think it was maybe 5 years or maybe less, and then I got into the bachelor's program. And then after the bachelor's program, I worked a little bit more, and then I went into the master's program. Yes, and me, and that one kicked my ass. Yeah, but it was fun.
Let me tell you.
Yours kicked your ass, but I didn't. Because guys, and let me tell you something about me. That's one thing. I was very adamant when I was getting into the master's program, because even before Addie even attempted that, another friend of mine, she got into the nurse practitioner program, and she wanted me and her to do that program. But Addie, I keep telling you, I knew, and I still know to this day, that I am not a nurse practitioner.
But you would be great at it.
You see, people say that, but I couldn't. And so I didn't want to waste the time and the money.
Yeah, child. I don't talk about that.
Yeah, money. I didn't want to waste the time and the money to do a program that I know I would not like. I can't see myself in it.
But the thing is, when I see you, you are an educator.
So that's why I went into the master's track.
It made sense.
Yeah.
She said it, but I didn't think that she would. And I'm like, oh my God, I can so see her as a professor
I
at a
know.
university.
But I
She's
was,
so gifted in
I
that
know, but
in that
guess what?
area.
It's like, and you know, you've been wanting me to touch on this, so I want to touch on it. It's like this. Um, I don't know if it's complacency. Yes, and me,
Yes, part of that.
yes, and I don't like my job now. Let's put it out there. I don't know. I don't care who's watching. I don't like what I'm doing now, which is MDS, and
MDS coordinator.
yeah,
Yes.
and I'm damn good at it, but there is no. I mean, there is levels that I can go, you know, like trajectory, but I don't want to do that. That's not me. I don't want to get into a corporate world. I do not. You understand me? And so my idea when I was getting my master's in nursing education was that I was going to be a teacher. The problem is not even the problem. When I now graduated and I started to do my research and trying to get a teaching job, I realized that what I'm doing now pays way more,
Yeah.
pays way more than what I would get as a brand new teacher. And for me to get to the level that I'm working at now, I would probably have to be teaching as a full-time professor for probably 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
You understand me? And
But what about the other option? Not to interrupt you, that we had pursued, attempted to.
which was remind me, you know, my brain not good.
What did we attempt to do multiple times, and we always
Oh,
get somewhere. and get
business.
stuck.
Guys, Addie and I was adamant because we wanted to thank God we never do it because they probably would have locked us up for selling license.
But no,
I'm just kidding.
That's not
I'm,
us.
no, I'm just completely kidding. Yeah, we talk about opening up a school. Yeah, we were thinking about that at one point, but boy, oh Jesus.
no. Honestly, the way that we wanted to. Okay, first of all, this is go back to. I guess this was going an update of everything. So, me, Angie, and I always for years now have talked, even before COVID. I'm like, okay, she has her master's in nursing education, right? So our plan was to open our own school, because let me tell you, that would be such a great asset to this area.
It would.
Angie is very, like you said, she's very studious. Like and she wants, and we want perfection. Like if we're gonna do anything, we want these students to represent us out there. We would make sure it is done right.
Yep.
But however, like when I noticed that, we start and nothing really happened, my sister now approached me about maybe we should do something together. So one day last year, we took a lunch with a school owner in this area, and to pick his brain on how to start a school. Let me tell you, that particular owner.
Where is he?
That list,
Where is he?
probably in jail. It's not funny. Well, it's not funny. She would say stuff like that. She's like, Addie, knowing how we are, we should do our own thing because we want this to be done. The students to come
Yes.
out and do it right.
Yeah, because I know what it takes to become a good nurse.
You teach, like you did a lot
Yes,
of
I
the
mean,
education in your
Yeah,
building,
staff
right?
developer. I did guys, let me tell you something. I don't know what I didn't do. Let's just put it there. It's easy for me to say what I didn't do. Yes, I mean, and I used to be a staff developer, and the number one thing that I used to do is staff education. So I know what it takes, and I know about inadequate orientation and all of that stuff. And I usually make sure, Addie, like when I'm doing an orientation, I used to insist, if it was not even 4, I think it was more than 4 days that I used to give the nurses. If if you have experience, but if you're brand new, I usually give them at least 4 weeks. Yes, and not only that, I used to go behind them and make sure that their skill, what they call it, their skill checkoff, their skill checklist was done. And when they bring it back to me, if something on that skill checklist that they didn't do, I try to make sure that I go out of my way to get it done. And this is why I no longer love these things anymore, guys. It's because I don't know if it's I like to make sure that stuff is done right.
She does.
And then when you work when you work with a bunch of people, Addie, that do half the job and you're constantly doing 100% when you get there, how long do you think you can get that done? How long, before?
You're gonna get burned
Yes,
out.
the
Quicker
people,
than them.
guys, right now, may I tell you the truth? I don't care who at my current job is watching this. Hi, guys. I am burned out for that very same reason. Because to me, it's not that I'm showing off or whatever, but Addie, I'm going to the job to do my job. And at the end of the day, when I'm leaving and I feel like I didn't do the task that I set for myself, it bugs me.
And that's one thing I've always admired about you is that when you do anything, like I already knew this podcast is gonna be successful just because of the person I'm doing it with, like she's gonna make sure I stay my accountability that and she's gonna be on top of it. We're gonna we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and we can communicate about it. And she's gonna do research. How do we make it better? How we do this? How we do that? So when she tells you I was really excited about opening the school because I felt like with her by my side, this is gonna be successful. But
I didn't
end up stopping though
because you always traveling, and then to get this our schedule when you're ready to talk, I'm not ready to talk. When I'm ready to talk, you're at work.
I'm away.
Yeah, and so it became difficult, and then I got stressed, and I got demotivated. Yes, and me at one time I was even telling you because Addie is like a go-getter, and I'm telling Addie it's okay to leave me behind because I might be.
She's always telling me that. I hate that.
Yeah, because I might be holding you back, and that's the thing. Because that's what a true friend do. I don't want to hold you back subconsciously. I have to tell you, if you're gonna do these things or thinking about it, it's okay to do what you have to do with somebody else who can get you there.
But I feel like honestly, but I have to commend you on your recent level of interest. Like this to me, I kid you not. Every day that we're doing this, I'm pinching myself. Is this real?
Right?
This girl is really not doing this.
No, honey.
You don't know this is so much out of her element. This is beyond anything I thought she would ever do.
And yet I'm here, and I'm here doing it.
There's hope for us to do all the things that we wanted.
We're
to do.
planning.
Because, and I feel it. I feel like, and you were so excited. You said, "You know what, Addie? Who cares? Like I'm at this stage in my life, and I don't want you guys to
The maturity.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like I was honestly for years, I kept saying, I have all these ideas and things that I wanted to do, I wanted to accomplish, but I've been so programmed as a Haitian woman that in my 20s, okay, I can do that when I get married. I can do that with my husband. I can do that. We can do that. We're going to be this power couple. And for years, God has been saying, Addie, you don't need nobody but yourself. And I would doubt him. I'll be like, no, I can't do this. I need this person. He's like, no. And until he slapped my face with that answer, all you need is you. You know what I mean?
To get it done.
You don't need nobody else. You don't need to wait on anybody else to do anything. And even sometimes my fitness advisors say it, like, Addie, and you can do this on your own. You don't need a business partner. You don't need this. You don't need that. And she's like, just go for it. And I'm like, but I don't want to. I need somebody with me. And she's like, come on, you can do it. Pull your big girl's drawers up and do this because you got this. So, and that came with maturity to where I don't want you guys in your 20s, in your 30s or whatever. So we're in our 40s to keep waiting, from that.
You in your 40s. Hey, I'm hitting the big 50 and I'm real proud of that.
Yeah, but don't wait. Honestly, go for your dreams. Go for your goals.
Yeah.
Because your aspiration. Don't wait on anybody. If you fail, you fail. It's a teaching opportunity that you're not gonna fail again. So, like I said, at least try, and don't wait on anyone.
Yeah. At this age that I am right now, the biggest barrier to me is myself. Guys, I am in a constant battle with my own consciousness and with my own brain. You understand me? Because when I was younger, Addie, there was no stopping me. I see a goal that I want. In my mind already calculate how I'm going to attain that goal, and I'm going for it, right? So I don't know what happened between then and now. Now I see where I want to go, right? And all of a sudden now, my brain have so much barriers.
Is it doubt?
It includes doubt. Doubt is in it. It's just, it's like it builds up. It builds up blocks. It builds, and sometimes the blocks get so overwhelming that I'm like, okay, it won't work.
But you never had that. You always.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something happened. What happened? I want to know. What happened?
But you just gotta realize that, okay, I can make this happen. It's gonna happen. But I think, like I said again, maybe you're comfortable.
Do I look comfortable? I complain every day.
But no, you're comfortable. Like you don't. Like for example, my sister always tell me, like one of my twin, the younger sisters always tell me, when I say, oh my God, I want to lose weight. I'm like, but I hate to work out, you know. And they would say, Addie, remember when you were in nursing school in Orlando and you were living on was it $25 a week budget? Just go back to that. You're losing weight because you were on a $25 budget a week. So that's $25 for gas, $25 for food, any other thing. I was so structured. I was so disciplined. If I was taking 10 cents out of that $25, I knew. I'm like, oh, I can't afford that. I mean, so of course I lost weight then. But then like go back to that Addie.
Oh God.
So again, think about what you used to be able to do.
I know. I have other stuff in my brain. But anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this segment up because we can go forever. And we don't want it to be way too long.
It's 2 hours, you know.
No, but by the time we edit and everything, it's not going to be 2 hours. You understand me? Because there's a lot of stuff we have to edit out of this one, child. Before we get ourselves in that trouble talking about other people. Yeah. So we're just going to wrap this up, guys. We're going to sign off and just wish everybody well. And just hope you continue to watch us like we've been saying. And once again, I want to just leave off by saying thank you